Welcome to this short session on how procurement of healthcare services, i.e. covered by the provider selection regime, works within the NHS. My email, richard@rsrconsultants.com, if you would like to discuss having full access to these sessions on provider selection regimes and many other topics. So when we talk about procurement of healthcare services, yes, contracting and delivery informs the next round of procurement, but it is just the procurement we're talking about. We're not talking about contracting and delivery. That's a separate set of guidance. And there is quite a lot to this, and this is a compressed version, but we set out what is within scope, healthcare services. We talk about which organizations are in scope. Essentially, anyone who commissions healthcare services from within the public sector. There are some exceptions. And what has changed with the introduction of the provider selection regime materially is that if the incumbent is doing a good job, you no longer need to go through full tender and possibly change who is delivering all the services and all that change hassle that comes with it. You can stick with them as long as you can evidence that they are doing a good job. And that is the fundamental change of the provider selection regime. So if you think they are doing a good job and nothing's changed materially, so 25% or 500,000 of its lifetime contract value, nothing's changed materially, and you can evidence they're doing a good job on these 5 criteria, then you can re-award them the next contract and move on. You don't have to go out to the full market. You might be challenged if other competitors feel like these evaluations haven't been done correctly. There could be a challenge. So it is not a risk-free approach, but it is a better approach where you want to stick with the existing provider because they're already doing a good job. And when I talk about who's in scope, this also includes provider to provider. NHS providers are in scope of the provider selection regime, whether they're trying to win it or whether they're trying to award it. They are still in scope. So always recommend that providers kind of a standardized template that they can use to say whether it is incumbents doing a good job or not. And it's more questions depending on the value. And there's loads of guidance about how to publish the award. And there's a lot in here that you have to be very transparent, which is how people can then maybe go, oh, hang on a minute. I want to challenge that because I think I would be doing a better job. So there is also something called the most suitable provider. But how do you know who's the most suitable provider unless you've already been out to the whole market and engaged them all, etc.? And if you're doing all that work, you might as well do a competitive procurement, a normal kind of procurement anyway. So competitive procurement, always been around, still around, not much has really changed. But one thing that is helpful is we now have an independent panel that reviews disputes and resolves them without the need for judicial review. Lots of good stuff there. So if that's expressed an interest for you, Richard@rsrconsultants.com, and we can go into it in more detail. Thanks for your time.